All right, we're going live. All right, we're going to get cars rolling here in just a little bit. See how this goes. Aloha. All right, I guess we're going to go ahead and go down the starting lineup for this race. So, Kyle Busch, not a surprise, on pole, followed by newcomer Tyler Reddick, who's been insane at this track. Justin Haley, the rookie that nobody expected to be in this spot, won one of the duels, and now he's in it. Joey Logano in 4th, Daniel Suarez 5th, great showing for Trackhouse. 6th, Chase Briscoe. 7th, William Byron. 8th, Kyle Larson, gotta be a favorite. Never cannot Kyle Larson, absolute wheelman. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 9th, Austin Dillon 10th, Christopher Bell in 20th, Michael McDowell in 12th, I said 20th, 11th, Michael McDowell 12th, Ryan Blaney 13th, Cole Custer in 14th, Chase Elliott, Eric Jones 15-16, Hamlin 17, Priest, Harvick, Bubba make up 18, 19, and 20, Allmendinger, Burton, Truex round out the field. So for those that weren't here when that happened, Truex got out of the last chance qualifier by being the highest finisher in points that did not race their way in. So he got a free spot on the end of the field, which meant that he didn't have to get his car torn to smithereens in the second last chance qualifier. That's a huge, oh dear, hold on. That's a huge deal. Let me take a look here. See if this is any better for the sound. I don't know. Still working on stuff here. Oh my goodness, we're green. I missed the drop of the green flag. All right, Busch leads Reddick, leads Haley. Let me at least see if this does anything to help our problem. And then we'll see. Tyler Reddick going on Kyle Busch for the lead. The kid, the California kid, moving his way up. Their single file coming out of turn 2. Reddick leads Busch, leads Haley, leads Logano. Kind of single file all the way back to Michael McDowell, Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick's teammate, sitting back in 9th. So 8th through 1st, all in single file line, trying to run the bottom of the track, trying to hit that line going down onto the rumble strips. Stands packed, racing good. I mean, this is the dream, guys. This is the dream. Ooh, major stack up between Cole Custer and Eric Jones in the backstretch. Now, as we see this is going to be kind of a race of attrition. 150 laps. Of course, you're not going to want to race hard on lap 10. We got 140 left. So expect the beginning here to be kind of calm and kind of collected. And then as we get into the last 20, the last 10 laps, that's when stuff is going to get absolutely insane. So Larson has passed Byron. Of course, teammates don't want to race each other too hard, but Reddick has got a decent lead going so far. Now, remember, there is the halftime with Ice Cube that will be in eventually. So I think that's at the end of the 150. So I think we got 300 laps total. So, like I said, Reddick, Busch, Haley, Logano, Suarez, top 5. Got Larson sitting there in 6th. Of course, he's a monster. Can't count him out anywhere. So, big stories coming into this is Ty Gibbs knocked out in the last chance qualifier, not allowed to get in. Ryan Preece and Rick Ware Racing Equipment made it in. It's crazy to think about a back marker team making it in. So, lap 13, it's still Reddick and Busch in the top. Justin Haley, the super rookie, in 3rd. What a performance from him. Super cool to see a brand new team performing that well. Other stories, Kevin Harvick back in 20th, behind everyone else. Of course, you'd figure he'd be one of the favorites for this event, California native, but yet he's been struggling all day. Barely made his way in and seems to be in the back for this one. Near the back. And Reddick is now making his way to the back of the field. Bubba Wallace is in dead last currently. So Bubba would be the first car to go a lap down with Truex and Burton right in front of him. Burton, another story, with the disqualification of Ty Dillon, with him breaking the start. That means Harrison Burton got in, so that's a great chance for Harrison. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. Tyler Reddick, obviously, the last couple of years has not been driving in great equipment. Usually he's been, middle pack. Of course, last year he overdrove his equipment. He was much better than what that car allowed to do. But now he's got to make his way and start serpentining through the field, getting through these lap cars as quick as possible. So he's got Bubba to go through first. He dives in on Bubba's inside. Bubba lets him have the room. Bubba stays quarter panel on him, going into turn 1. Now, he does have the inside, and we've seen it throughout the day that the inside line is 100% the preferred line. They can duck down on that rumble strip going into turns, gives them a much better drive off. A lot of tire wear coming out from the 31. We've seen tons of lockups today, and they're stacking up. Their accordion effect, 8, 11, 18, 31, 22. Accordion effect, backing up, knocking each other, trying to get each other out of the way. So when one person hits the brakes, they all get hit the brakes, or they're all just done. So we've seen it all day. We've seen cars beaten and sliding and knocking each other out. It's part of short track racing. It's just kind of how it is. These cars have stood up very well, I thought. Now, Eric Amarola hit the wall. His car kind of disintegrated. But, that's just one. But the beating and banging that we've actually seen has been very good racing so far. Larson, Byron, they're just kind of hanging back in there. Larson in 5th, Byron in 7th, Suarez 6th. Just kind of being content about being where they are. Of course, at this point in the race, there's no need to push the envelope, risk getting damaged, or even worse, completely wrecking. Reddick is past Hamlin. Now he's going to try to work on Martin Truex. Truex is the next car to go. That would go a lap down in 20th. So let's go down the list. We have Reddick, Busch, Haley, Logano, Larson, Suarez, Byron, Briscoe, Austin Dillon, Cole Custer. That's your top 10. Jones in 11th, McDowell 12th, Blaney 13th, Elliott 14th, Bell 15th, 16th is Ryan Preece, 17th AJ Allmendinger, 18th Kevin Harvick, 19th is Harrison Burton, and 20th is Martin Truex Jr. Of course, Bubba trying to stay, as well as he can in this. Of course, he's putting up a big fight. That car has not looked great today. Of course, I think it looked like probably one of the top 3 cars in the second last chance qualifier. Of course, we know how that turned out, and I don't know if he's sustained any damage throughout that they could not fix in this short amount of time. But it would not surprise me if that is the case, because that car actually had a decent amount of speed in it at least until he got wrecked in the second last chance qualifier. So as we see, the cars are slowly, methodically making their way through the field. He's cutting that gap. Justin Haley, I think, is probably the best story in this whole thing. Sitting there in third, he's got a whole second lead on Joey Logano, second-ish. He's got at least 4 or 5 car lengths. That is where he wants to be, right behind Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch has got about a half a second lead, half a second gap between him and Reddick. Reddick's in first, Kyle Busch in second. I think you want to keep that as much as you can. So, like I said, top 10, Reddick, Busch. We expected Kyle Busch to be up there, but Tyler Reddick is kind of the surprise so far. It's great to see him in there, and that's what we want. So, going to commercial, we will be right back. So at lap 40, Reddick, Busch, Haley, Logano, Larson, top 5. Suarez in 6th, Chase Briscoe 7th, William Byron 8th, Austin Dillon 9th, and Eric Jones 10th. You can't be mad about Eric Jones being in 10th. That is awesome to see, Petty GMS, technically a new team, running up there in the top 10. Ty could have easily been in this race if he decided to not be a absolute bowling ball and jump the start. But hey, what can you do? So lap 43 as we go into this. Now the field has wrapped back around itself. In a lot of short track races, the leader, you can't always tell, exactly where they're at. Ooh, big lock up from Bubba going into turn 1. Can't always tell where they're at because they start lapping cars and then, it's just kind of crazy. You'll have first and second and 3 cars between them. So that will be something that I hope the fans are will be able to keep track of sitting there that maybe haven't been familiar with NASCAR before. That's something I had to work on when I first started, is knowing that like you can't exactly tell where the leaders are sometimes because there's just cars everywhere and turning laps, you know. But hey, what can you do? Big mover, Harvick up from 20th to 15th, so he's going the right way, definitely going the right way. Daniel Suarez in 7th, super awesome to see him running in the top 10. And Austin Dillon, too. I mean, some of the guys that you don't see a lot in the top 10s are out running. So you can't be mad about that. You can't be mad about backmarker cars doing much better. So Justin Haley has been passed. Of course, he's still in 4th, which is way higher than most people expected him to be. So now you got Reddick, Busch, Logano, Haley, Larson, top 5. Chase Briscoe going on a dive bomb on Kyle Larson and makes the move stick. Chase Briscoe up into 5th position now. And considering that we knew the talent was there, last year I think he was greatly held back by his car. And here he is in the top 5 of this race. And arguably, you can make the argument that this probably isn't necessarily his best form of racing. So cool to see him up in the top. After lap 75, Ice Cube will be performing. So that will be very interesting. We'll probably not be watching along with that. So Tyler Reddick, of everybody, I think a lot of people were saying that he would probably be one of the better cars in this race because his natural talent is ridiculous. Of course, this is probably the closest to a home race he's going to get. Harrison Burton and Ricky Stenhouse come together coming out of turn 3? So it looks like we're going to have a caution there. Remember, laps turned under caution do not count. So these laps that we are having right now technically do not count. So Ricky Stenhouse involved. Of course, for some of you, that's not going to be surprising. Looks like slight damage on Denny Hamlin's car. Denny Hamlin coming into the pits. All right, so Hamlin's coming to the pits. Looks like they're busting open the hood. So clearly some sort of engine issue going on, maybe overheating, something to that sort. But Tyler Reddick had a 3.5-second lead going into that. That is insane. And it wasn't... Okay, so Harrison Burton was at fault for spinning Ricky Stenhouse. Now, I know the big thing on Stenhouse is, you can't believe it's Stenhouse. But... That wasn't his fault. He got spun. It wasn't him spinning somebody else. And that was great for Denny Hamlin because as soon as he got spun, that was when Denny Hamlin was having car problems. So that's kind of a lucky break for Denny Hamlin in that situation to keep him from going even farther down the order. Of course, with him being the only person to pit, he's still going to be far down anyway. But we are going to break. We will be back in just 1 second. Dylan, that wasn't even his fault. So if you look, Harrison Burton cooked it in the corner and hit Ricky Stenhouse. Not his fault, and I don't think you can hold that against him. The same way that you wouldn't hold it against, I don't know, anyone that got bodied by Ty Dillon in the first race. So it all comes and goes. It all comes and goes. not his fault. Testing audio again. I think it's only coming through the left ear. So trying to troubleshoot that to figure out how to get that fixed. I swapped some things. Did that help? I'm not sure if it did or not. Tyler Reddick's got a problem. Tyler Reddick's got a problem. Oh, heck. Broke the trans axle. Led 51, 53 laps and has a car problem. Holy cow. Oh, that is devastating, dude. That is awful. So of course stuff like this is gonna happen. I mean, that's just the nature of having this new car. You know, this is part of why we have these clash tests and things, is to figure out what we need to work on. And unfortunately, it happens to the dude that's, you know, having to this point, I mean, which is essentially the race of his career. So that is so unfortunate. I cannot believe that just happened to him. Unlucky. So that means Kyle Busch is going to lease back to the green. Logano on his right side. Larson and Haley behind. So top 10 going into this restart. Busch, Logano, Larson, Briscoe, Haley, Byron. Well, not Reddick. Byron, Suarez. So here we go. Green flag. Kyle Busch gets a great start. Larson falling slightly behind. Logano right on his side. Haley right behind him. 2x2x2. Noah's arcing down the back straight. Logano manages to get clear of Larson, get that on that inside line. Haley still glued to the side of Kyle Larson. William Byron manages to break away, and now he's got a little bit of freedom going in there, and the 2x2x2 is starting to break up just a little bit. Suarez and Eric Jones fighting for another spot down there, fighting for 6th spot. A lot of shuffling throughout the field. A lot of Chevys in the front. Got a Toyota Ford 1-2, and then like 6 or 7 Chevys in a row. So that's pretty cool. Chase Elliott fighting with Daniel Suarez. This is for 7th position. And it looks like with Chase Elliott having that preferred inside line, he's got the position. Now, the problem with being on the outside is you're immediately under attack again. He lost that spot to Chase Elliott, and then he's immediately got to fight Ryan Blaney. But he can slip in behind Blaney. Now he's on that bottom line. So he's not really at risk anymore of losing that spot. Went from 7th to 9th in just a lap, because when you get forced out of that preferred line, out of that groove, you're just a sitting duck. People can just dive right underneath you, and they just got you. You can't do anything about it. So with Kyle Busch in the inherited race lead, looking pretty good. Logano a 2.5 back. Justin Haley another 3 seconds behind him, as we see Daniel Suarez and Christopher Bell continuing the scuffle. Austin Dillon in behind him, trying to make something happen. Now he's too wide with him. Yeah, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, both out of this main event. Of course, it's been kind of a rough day for Toyota. You've got Bubba's 2 laps down. Truex is a lap down. Denny Hamlin's out of the race. Christopher Bell's doing fine in 9th, and you got Kyle Busch in the lead. And Chase Briscoe's gone, for Ford. So I guess that means we've got one of each manufacturer out of the race now. So at least we're on an even playing field in that regard. Logano catching up to Kyle Busch. A little bit of tire rub going into that corner, probably locking up the brakes a little bit. We've seen a lot of smoke today. I think a lot of people, they're trying to get as much as they can on those straightaways and then just cooking the brakes into the corners. Of course, if it works, it works. Not a big fan of these under-car cameras. Rather see what's going on and not just the back of Kyle Busch's car, but that's probably just me. So I cannot tell what's going on at any rate. Justin Haley still sitting in 3rd. Calling brand new Cup team, have been very dominant. And Chase Elliott's in the wall. Another caution. Chase Elliott, of course, gets that thing flipped right back around. Now, I didn't see any noticeable damage on that car, but of course, the part that probably would have been damaged was facing away from the camera, because we were looking at Kyle Busch and Joey Logano's helmets. Blaney just got in the back of him, gave him a little tap coming out of the corner, looks like, and he was fine on that. I'm trying to think what happened. It looks like, he lost it going into turn 2. Well, I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if something broke or he just misjudged it and lost it. Not entirely sure, but that is, you've got to assume that's Chase Elliott's day done. I'm not sure what caused that. Very interesting. Well, not a great day for Chase Elliott so far. You've got to imagine that you're at a track like this, in the amount of time you've got, you probably don't have enough time to fully make back up those spots that you lost. He's down at 16th. So he went from 7th to 16th. So about 9 spots. Fitting. That's his number. But not a great spot for him to be in. Not a great spot at all. Ryan Preece getting the free pass. So we're on lap 66. Now, we do have that little halftime break at lap 77. So about 9 laps till then. So do you risk it? Do you go aggressive here in the last couple laps before we take a little break? Do you hold out and wait for after? I don't know exactly. Of course, anything like this on a new track is going to be a risk. You don't know exactly how these things are going to play out. So, I mean, might as well go for it, see what happens. But I think it's going to be a risk to see what these guys really choose. Going into the choose rule, of course, if you're Kyle Busch, you're taking the bottom. Logano takes top. Haley takes bottom. Larson takes bottom. Byron throws up top. Jones on bottom. So, of course, the bottom line is where you want to be. You get down on that racetrack, you get in that groove. That's the best line possible. But there is an argument to be made that if 4 or 5 people in front of you all take the bottom line, take that top, get those free spots, and then try to make it work. If you're fast enough, there will be a break where you can slide in there and take advantage of that, moving up the order like that. So, as you can see, we saw a lot of that in LCQs where people would go from 7th to 2nd. And obviously use the added advantage of having, being technically in the passing zones. All right. Going back green, Kyle Busch leads us off the line. Joey Logano to his right again. Justin Haley right behind. This time it's Byron right behind Logano. 2x2x2. Noah's Ark coming out of turn 2. And Joey Logano cannot clear Kyle Busch. They're pretty much all side by side all the way down. Finally gets in behind him in front of Justin Haley. That leaves Logano high and dry on the top side. Looking for a way around. Of course, you've got Kyle Larson there in 5th, just kind of waiting his time. Nobody's in this top pack has been too aggressive yet. Of course, their chances are much better to actually go out and win this thing. So you know that they're going to try to be there for the end and not DNF on lap 60. So a lot of the long game being played here. Kyle Busch got a pretty decent lead, got about a 2-second lead on Logano now. And about another second to Justin Haley. Justin's at about 3 seconds behind. Byron's at about 3.5. Of course, that fluctuates as they go in and out of corners. But a good lead for Kyle Busch, at least 2 or 3 car lengths. Kevin Harvick making the move on Cole Custer. Of course, he's got the inside line done all day. And Daniel Suarez in 13th. Trackhouse, new team last year. Now they've got 2 teams. It's a 2-car team. The other, Ross Chastain got unfortunately eliminated in one of the last chance qualifiers. But hey, you've got that 1 car in here running well. Daniel Suarez seemed to have a big reception at driver intros. So I'm sure that there's a lot of people there that want him to do well. Of course, you'd rather be running up there in the top 10. But I think for Trackhouse, a P12 is pretty great, all things considered. Trackhouse running P12 every week during the season would also be, I think is about best case scenario. Now, if it was up to me, I think I'd love to see him top 5 as Elliott makes the pass on Suarez. But Logano has finally got back up to Kyle Busch, and Joey might have. Now, we know how Joey uses the nose of his car. Everybody thinks back to that Martinsville with him and Martin Truex. But a massive bump on Kyle Busch knocks him up the track, and now Joey Logano's got the bottom line. Joey Logano goes into P1. Oh, Kyle Busch hits him back. Almost loses another spot to Justin Haley, but gets him cleared. Stays in P2. I'm expecting to see caution. Okay, so there's the caution for the halftime intermission. Of course, Logano, I think he waited to the last lap there, so he can't get him back. So now coming out of this, he will be in P1, and Kyle Busch will have to restart on the top line in P2. So big brain move coming out from Joey Logano. Just hits him, knocks him at the track. Kyle Busch, lesser drivers might not have been able to, keep a hold on that race car, but, it's Kyle Busch, so of course he can. Tries to hit him back coming out of turn 2, but just doesn't make it happen. But we're going into the break. Good racing so far, I think. Of course, we've had a couple unfortunate DNFs, but for the most part, good racing so far. So we'll come back after the Ice Cube live performance a little bit later on. So we'll see you at that point. Going back green, Kyle Busch leads him off the line again. William Byron in P2. He got up to second place because he was fourth, and boom, there's what we're talking about. He got enough room to clear Joey Logano, and did he? Joey Logano fights back. Now Joey Logano's up in second. Kyle Larson is in fourth. That's going to be good support for William if he needs it. Justin Haley still running very well. 3 wide. Kyle Larson on the bottom. Ooh, William Byron throws it down and accidentally hits Justin Haley on that restart, trying to get in that bottom lane. Haley refuses to win. William Byron has to go back to the top. All right, a little bit more aggressive already, and we just started. 72 laps to go. Kyle Busch, another second lead. Of course, you know, he is one of the favorites to win this whole thing. You know, with these cars, you know, you have somebody that's very good. You know, I would argue that probably the two most talented Cup drivers in the series are currently sitting in 1 and 2. Yeah, Colleague Racing. You know, this is their first full-time year. They've got 2 cars in the top 10. One of them's in 4th. Now, Justin Haley, what a story coming through, you know, winning that heat race, qualifying super high, and continuing to stay up there. You know, sometimes you have these fluke qualifiers, and, you know, as soon as the race starts going, they start tumbling down the ladder. That has not been the case for Justin Haley. Justin Haley has been up in the front the entire time. You know, definitely on par for at least a top 10. Like, and that's if something goes very wrong. He's been running in the top 5 all day. Going down the list, Busch, Larson, Logano, Haley, Byron, Dillon, Blaney, Jones, Bell, Allmendinger is your top 10. There is quite a gap from Austin Dillon to Ryan Blaney. There's about a 3 or 4 length car length gap. Same way with Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson. Apparently, if your name is Kyle, you're just more likely to be good at this racetrack for whatever reason. Got the Kyles up front. There we go. Bubba in 18th, started 20th and 18th. He's managed, since Ryan Preece is gone and Stenhouse is also 2 laps down, he's ended up in 18th. He's the first car a lap down in 2 laps. So, not a great day for Bubba. Not a great day for 2311. Not a, like I said earlier, not a super good day for Ford. For Toyota. You've got Kyle Busch in the lead, and then you go down, you got Bell in 9th. I mean, that's something. Truex Jr. in 17th. That's not where he wants to be. You know, Denny Hamlin's out of the race. Kurt Busch didn't make it. So, you know, if they get consolation to win this race, I think that's about as good as Toyota can really hope for today. So, got the gap from Kyle Busch back to Carl Larson at about a second, another quarter second back to Joey Logano. Top 5, separated by about 2 seconds in total. 4 wide going down there as we go into the break. Kyle Busch has made a massive lead. Joey Logano trying to hold everybody back. Kyle Larson, Justin Haley, and William Byron are hot on his tail. Also, let's not forget about Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon, you know, RCR has looked very good today. You know, of course, we got, you know, Reddick that was, you know, led most of the race, that had an engine problem and had to, you know, retire out of the race, which, you know, no one wants to do, especially after you've had the day that he did. I think he was probably on track to win the whole thing. But, you know, bad luck. It's what happens when you have these new cars is sometimes stuff doesn't go to plan, especially when it's the first race in these. So hopefully they get that fixed up for Daytona, because I think Kyle, you know, Kyle Larson's obviously his favorite going through, but, you know, somebody like, you know, a Justin Haley and a Cole Custer, maybe, I don't know, that, you know, we've kind of been down on, you know, maybe they fit this car very well. Of course, I hope Tyler Reddick comes out and wins the whole thing, but that's just me. I'm still not a big fan of NASCAR side by side. So Busch, Logano, Larson, still your top three. Byron, Haley, top five. You know, Justin Haley, Austin Dillon, and even Eric Jones. Three people that, you know, didn't do a whole lot of running in the top 10 last year. All looked very good in the heat races, the last chance qualifiers, if they were in them, and in this race. Going pretty well. All right, 49 to go. We're still in NASCAR side by side, so of course I can still see a little bit, but it's not great. Kyle Busch, I don't even know what to say. Kyle Busch is absolutely out here running away from people. You know, I'm of the opinion that he's the most talented, you know, driver in NASCAR, especially right now. So of course it makes a lot of sense that he would be the one in the lead of this. You know, of course Tyler Reddick, I wish he would have been up there, but you know, you come and go with what you got. So they're currently playing a massive advertisement, and I cannot see what is going on. Joey Logano's cut the gap down. It's only about a 2-car gap. Seven-tenths of a second back is Joey Logano. We're about to catch lapped traffic. So we know Kyle Busch, with his dominance at Bristol, good at lapped traffic. Of course, this is slightly different because, you know, you can't just run the top side and it be fine, especially not right now. We'll see how this goes. I have confidence that he'll be able to kind of go through these cars. Kyle Larson in third. You know, expect him to kind of catch up on Joey. Maybe he's kind of saving a little bit, you know, for the end. But it's not going to be, I think he'll be there at the end. And then Byron in fourth. You know, not a, you know, of course it could have went better for Hendrick today. I think Alex Bowman got lucky, unlucky in heat races, and then very unlucky in the last chance qualifier. I think he could have easily been in here and probably done, you know, relatively well. Larson, Byron, 3-4. Chase Elliott not got spun. He would be up there with them. So, you know, is, you know, unlucky with Alex Bowman, but throughout the day, good run for Hendrick. I don't think they're going to walk away from this and be sad. Of course, you know, they're really good on every kind of track, but I usually think of them at the 1.5 miles, since that's, you know, their engines are insane, so anything with a lot of engine power really helps. But now we're catching into traffic. Joey Logano might have a run on the inside of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch being held up beside, in the back of Truex Jr. Now dives down to that bottom lane. Trying to see what's going on here. Yeah, Truex Jr. held up Kyle Busch there for just a second. Bubba getting out of the way. Let's, you know, appreciate getting out of the way in the leaders. All right, so now the next car to be put a lap down is Truex Jr. Now, does he fight Kyle Busch because he's, you know, the leader and he doesn't want to, you know, go a lap down? Or does he let him have a little bit of leeway because he's his teammate? We'll have to see. But Joey Logano is right on Kyle Busch's tail. This might get spicy here at the end. 36 to go. Oh, looks like Ryan Blaney has a problem. Ryan Blaney is falling down the order. Very slow. He's in turn 1 right now. Joey Logano puts the bumper to Kyle Busch. Caution comes out. Caution comes out. Looks like he's had some contact with the wall. So good for Kyle Busch there when it was, because Joey Logano was on the attack. So that keeps him at bay for now. Remember, none of these laps turned under the caution actually count. So the caution laps do not count. So when we go back green, the same amount of laps will be on the board. What exactly? Oh, he got a big shove from Eric Jones. Went up, hit the wall, looks like. Yeah, big hit from Eric Jones. Threw Ryan Blaney up the track. And looks like he absolutely said hello to the wall quite drastically. Looks like it might have been a suspension issue. Ryan Blaney looks like he's parking it. Cool design for Ryan Blaney's helmet. I haven't seen that so far, so good-looking helmet. Good-looking helmet. Back under caution, lap 116 of 150. So, still got a good ways to go here. The crowd looks really good for Los Angeles. Crowd looks really good. I'm excited. This is definitely, I think we need to do this every year personally. See how it goes, man. I'm excited to see this finish. I think there's going to be something absolutely insane that happens. Somebody's going to shunt somebody and throw them into the wall in the last turn, or something along those lines. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting. Ryan Blaney took his Hans device off and chucked it at Eric Jones because, well, it was Eric's fault. The petty GMS guys today have been getting in a lot of cautions. Of course, in the second last chance qualifier, you know, Ty Dillon was on an absolute war path, trying to kill everybody in his way. Now you've got Eric Jones. I don't think his was, his was pretty aggressive. That was an aggressive bump. So we'll see how that continues to go. So far, petty GMS ain't making no friends. Yeah, we're going to see at least someone else get up in arms before this is over. Yeah, keep in mind, there's no points being paid at all today. So, see how this goes. Adjusting my mic, excuse me. All right, one to go. One to go. So you're in your front four, you've got Busch, Larson on bottom. You've got Logano, Haley on top. Justin Haley has been incredible today. It is so cool to see Justin Haley in a brand new car, in a brand new team, running in the top 5 all day. And it isn't a fluke. He's actually up there. It's crazy. Going back to green, Kyle Busch leads him off, gets a good start. Larson, a little bit behind. Logano is right on him. Oh, Kyle's trying to drive him into the wall. That's going to open up the door for Kyle Larson. Doesn't go yet. Doesn't go yet. They're still side by side. Oh, Larson just hit Justin Haley. Justin Haley into the wall. Oh, no. Oh, all of that work for Justin Haley. And that car is totaled. Yep, the siding's ripped off. That car is destroyed. That is a heartbreaker. I cannot believe that. Yeah, Justin Haley could have won this race. And, he taps with Byron, and my stream is lagging, and it just went out. That is awesome. But Justin Haley, good shot to have won that race, and now that is gone. Absolutely gutted for Justin Haley. Man. I cannot believe that. Cannot believe that. And then he got into it. With Kyle. Him and Kyle Larson are beating and bumping, and Kyle comes back down on him and throws him into the wall. Now I don't know if that was, I mean, it looked intentional, but I don't, when I think of intentionally running people into the wall, Kyle Larson ain't the guy I usually picture doing that. Of course, Justin Haley was all up on him right before that. So maybe. Ricky Stenhouse gets the free pass. Man, Justin Haley, I'm gutted for Justin. He went out and drove like an absolute champ today. I mean, I think if you're Colleague, I don't think you're mad about that at all. I mean, of course you're mad because you would have won that race, but in a whole, you ran top 5 all day. You would have probably, I mean, let's be real, probably would have finished top 5 coming at, finishing this race, unless something else would have happened later. But you've shown people that you are here and you're not just going to sit and roll over. Like, it's fantastic. Crazy. I am gutted for Justin Haley, man. I think we're going to get going back green here relatively soon. $34 to go. I think we still got to choose rule. Choosing right now. All right. So row 1, Larson, Logano, not surprising. Choosing the top and not to be in the second row. So Logano, Busch. Logano, Busch, Larson, Dillon. All right, things are probably going to get pretty crazy. I have a feeling that we're going to have at least a couple more cautions. Couple more cautions. All right, coming back to green. Logano good off the line. Larson good off the line as well. And the feed has went black. Oh, there we go. Terrible angle. Cannot tell what is going on. I just know that Logano, Busch, Larson, Dillon is the top 4. No idea what else is happening. Can't tell you what's going on. Cars are driving. Ladies in the back. Okay, there's finally a little bit of single file. So Logano, Larson, Kyle Busch, Byron, Dillon, top 5. All one behind the other, behind the other, behind the other. Looks like that nobody's caught up currently. Cole Custer passes Kevin Harvick for 9th place. 32 to go. I think we'll see a little bit more beating and banging going on. I think there's probably going to be maybe a couple last lap cautions. I think people are going to start to, because this isn't a race that coming in second does nothing for you. There's no points. There's no nothing. The only prize is for the winner. So I can imagine, throwing something out there and seeing what sticks in the last couple of laps. Austin Dillon has made the pass on Wayne Byron. That's crazy. I don't know why I'm being so surprised. I was just hyping him up, and now I'm like, oh, I can't believe he passed somebody. So yeah, kind of all in a freight train right now. Logano, Larson, Busch, Dillon, Byron, Jones, Bell, Elliott, top 10. No, Custer, Allmendinger, top 10. This formatting for the confuses me. Larson about 3/4 of a second back. Kyle Busch a whole second back. Austin Dillon a 1.5 seconds back. Byron 2 back. As this race has gone on, they're not diving as deep into the rumble strips as they were at the beginning of the race. They're running a little bit higher. They're running they're running about half and half. Maybe if they go into that, it gets a little bit more of the benefit of going low, and then the other half of it is still having your tires on the actual track, I'd assume. So I assume Kyle Busch isn't going to want to stay behind Kyle Larson for much longer. Oh, dive bomb! He's dive bombing Kyle Larson, makes it stick, hits him in the quarter panel. Now he's on the inside. Kyle Busch has taken back second. I think Kyle Busch is going to track on Logano. I think Kyle Busch is winning this race. Unless something crazy happens. Now Dillon's on the back of Kyle Larson. I mean, Austin Dillon, he's up here running like that you'd expect that 3 car to be running. Great showing out of him. Great showing for RCR in general. Of course, unfortunate that what happened with Reddick happened, but we'll see. So Logano got a pretty sizable lead here. 21 to go, 20 as we get back to the line. But yeah, I think this is probably going to be okay. I think I'm going to give it, about 10 laps, we're going to start seeing people making whack moves. Now, they're showing the replay of the Justin Haley incident from the cockpit cam of Justin Haley and not even remotely what happened, so kind of a worthless replay, to be fair. But yeah, back to the actual action. Kyle Larson, he's kind of keeping up with Busch. He's got about a 2 car. Ooh, Kyle Busch, major lockup going into 1. I feel like it's almost like there's only 2 turns. Like, I'm crazy. So now Austin Dillon's making a move on Kyle Larson, throwing it up the inside. Makes it stick. And is he going to take it side by side going into turn 1? Austin Dillon's making the move. Austin Dillon up into 3rd place. Kyle Busch reeling back in Joey Logano as we're seeing it. Now, of course, there is still a pretty sizable gap there, about a little over half a second. But, hey, all things considered, I think he might have enough room to catch it. 15 to go. Kyle Larson back into 6th place, passed by Eric Jones. Logano, Busch, Dylan, Byron Jones, your top 5. 14 to go. I think we're going to have about another 4 laps before we see something crazy. Kyle Busch at about half a second back now. Austin Dillon at 2.5 seconds back. I think I would not want to be Joey Logano right now sitting in 1st place, especially with Kyle Busch right behind him. And Kyle Busch looks pretty calm and cool in that car. I think we're going to see something. I think we're going to see some absolute ridiculous dive bomb happen. But then again, also, do you do that and risk destroying your own your new car? Because I don't know about the backup situation. So is that something that you risk doing this? Time will tell. I don't know what he's going to do. So he's right up on his bumper now. 11 to go. They're about to start catching traffic. So if he's going to make a move, this might about be the time. All right, coming out of 1. Gap is less than a car length for Kyle Busch. Looking for a move to happen in the next couple of laps. 10 to go. 9 to go as we cross the line. Kyle Busch is right behind him. He is on his tail. I think Kyle can get it done. But, Joey Logano is, also a great driver in his own right. So if there's one guy that will be able to defend against him, it's probably Joey Logano. All right. 8 to go. Man, Ryan Blaney's in the very back. So they're going to just tell Ryan Blaney to get out of the way. All right, Kyle. Crazy. I'm rooting for Kyle Busch. All right. Okay, so if I'm Kyle Busch, I'm about to put the bumper to him before we get to Ryan Blaney. Logano's found a little bit more speed than Kyle has. Kyle can't get as close to him as he needs to get. Ooh, lock up for Kyle Busch going into turn 4. Blaney's already out of the way. I think Bubba's the next car up. 4 to go. Lock up from Bubba. All right. So Bubba's going to be running the preferred lane, which is going to give Kyle Busch an actual, decent chance to do something because Bubba's going to be in Joey's way. All right, 2 to go. They're caught in traffic. Ooh, bump. 1 to go. Oh, major lockup from Bubba. I don't think Kyle's going to catch him. Nope, he's too far back. He's a whole second back. Darn. All right, Joey Logano is your Busch Light at the Clash winner. Not the guy I picked, but, this... Oh. Truex and Michael McDowell got all tangled up on the last lap there. I'm glad that they didn't cause a major collision there with the leaders. All right. Joey Logano's burning it down fast. There you go. Joey Logano is your 2022 Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum winner. Oh, that's a dope burnout. I mean, they're not going to use it again before they have to tear it down, so might as well burn it until the tires fall off. Go for it. That's pretty awesome. I thought it was a good race. I thought it was a great race. From a huge cloud of smoke emerges the 22, the Penske 22. You know what? As much as I don't care for that paint scheme in the renders, and it does look better in person than it did on the Team Penske renders for the 22 car. Pretty good race, all things considered. I'm going to consider that a win. I consider this event a big win. Joey Logano emerges. right, let's go, Joey. It's a good finish. I mean, it was a good race. You know, of course, trying, you know, to move into a new market in, you know, the Los Angeles Coliseum, super cool. I think it's went, you know, perfectly fine. Great race, all things considered. So, I'm going to consider that. I'm going to consider that a win. Pretty cool. Another win for Pennzoil. Big purse money. I don't think anyone's going to be mad about that. So, hey, not bad. Not bad at all. All right, friends. So, I think that is going to be it. I think that is going to be it. So, for the two of you that tuned in, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. And that will be the end of this. So, thanks for tuning in.